Right, I have a few people in here. Can you just let me know that my audio comes out all right? If you can just let me know that my audio is working. Thank you. Okay, all right. See you guys in like 6 minutes, 7 minutes. Okay, welcome everyone. My goodness, when NINZA told me that this webinar is going to be on a Friday afternoon, I said, who is going to come here on a Friday afternoon? But here you are. That's dedication. Excellent. Very nice. Has nothing to do with the offer that's coming up. It's it's all because of me. In any case, if you've never heard me before, my name is James Buchman. I've been trading for about 16 years. There was a slide with me here. Here was a slide. That's me. Trading for about 16 years. After retiring from New York City Department of Education, I was fortunate enough to meet some people in some very nice futures firms on Wall Street. Made the transition to electronic trading a little while back. Created my own Discord group where I share my NASDAQ and S&P trading plans for the day. I share levels, I share direction, and we have a lot of fun together. Back in the summer of 2023, partnered up with NINZA because I thought they had very unique products, high quality products that can really help traders. And I was not wrong. They really have a lot of quality stuff. And we're going to talk about one of these very robust and potentially profitable systems today. So first of all, let me see who is here, see if I recognize anyone. Oh, I do. Very nice. Thank you for coming. Really appreciate it. Excellent. So let me know, who had a green day today? Did anyone have a green day today? Gonna try and keep you awake. Just curious. Okay. And if you did, what are you trading? Okay. All right. Nice, nice. Okay. All right. So a lot of people here did well, and yet they tell us that 97% of traders are not profitable, at least long term. 97% are not profitable. So what is it that stands in the way of people being profitable? So I have a theory, if you will. It's not one thing. I think it's two major things. So the most basic thing is most people either trade without an edge or they might trade with an edge, but it's too complicated and they cannot execute that edge. So they might have an edge, but they cannot trade it. And if you have an edge that you cannot trade, you really don't have an edge. So the first thing is this idea of having an edge, knowing what to look for, knowing if you want to be long or short, knowing when to stay away. So that's an edge. And then of course there is money management. Part of this edge is a bunch of things, right? There is money management, of course, position size, which is part of money management. What is your risk tolerance? So all this becomes part of your trading plan. So that's what we mainly going to be covering today. The second part is really something that is beyond the scope of this webinar, but it's something I talk in my room a lot about, and that is the fact that trading is a head game. The real challenge is not on a screen. The real challenge is within yourself. The real challenge is how to learn to think right as a trader. That is a whole different webinar. I'm not going to get into it here, but those are the two major parts. Today, though, we're going to be talking about Zone GTP. We're going to be talking about different aspects of the system. It is a system, it's not just an indicator. We will be looking at live charts that I traded today, both micros and e-minis. So I used two different accounts, one for micros, one from e-minis, and the mistake I made is that those two accounts are with different connections. So I'm going to have to disconnect. I'm going to have to first show you the micros chart, then disconnect and reconnect my other account. And yeah, so I'm sorry about that, but I'm doing a lot of things during the day, and that was an oversight. So if you're attending for the first time, if you hear me here for the first time, I always trade funded prop firm accounts. I do not show you back tests, sim accounts, evaluation accounts. I do not pick some beautiful day that happened to do really well 2 weeks ago. I always show you the current day, the current action, and an account where I'm actually risking my money. And you can say, well, it's really not your money, but it is because all of my funded accounts are way above the trailing threshold, which means that money that I lose is money that I cannot take as a payout. So if I lose money, I actually do lose money. The reason I'm doing this is because I am first and foremost a trader. I am not a software developer. I am not some guru. Those people, for the most part, don't actually trade. And so I'm not going to be promoting here something that I cannot make money with. If I cannot make money with it, I am not here to tell you that you should get it. I mean, that's, you will see live accounts, we will see live charts, and that I think will explain really how this system works. There will be an offer, an amazing offer from NINZA, so make sure you stay to the end, and I'm going to be showing it at the end because that's how I keep you here. As amazing and as I think I am, you might be here for the offer. So I'm just going to make sure that I show it. But I'm not going to keep you here long. It is Friday. I get it. And I do appreciate that you are here. There will be a question and answers section. And I'm going to try to answer every question. If somehow I miss your question, which could happen, email me. I will answer any question. Just email me here. I'll go daytrading@yahoo.com, and I will answer any question you have. You can also ask me in Discord, in a public channel. I always keep an eye on that as well. Okay. So we kind of spoke about this already. We need an edge. We need an edge we can understand. We need an edge that is consistent, and we need an edge that can actually be traded. Some people have something they call an edge and they cannot trade it. Well, that's pointless. So that's what we need. So Zone GPT from the future. Now, why from the future? It has an amazing ability to forecast the zones in real time, forecast the zones where price might travel to in the future. That's why they call it from the future. So this is something they're really proud of, and there is a video of this actually. Now, those of you who know me, you guys know I know nothing. Technology is not my friend. I don't know how to run tests. I don't know how to use market analyzer. I trade. That's what I do. I just trade. But this back test is impressive. So when they ran this back test, there was a profit of $65,000 in 200 days. Now, I'm not clear if it's in 200 trading days or just in 200 calendar days. I would probably think it's it's trading days, maybe. But I'll tell you something, and I'm going to show you some charts. That's not impressive. I can tell you with this system, and I'm going to show you a chart where today, using three micros, and I took profits along the way. Using 3 micros, I generated over $400 in profit. Using one E-mini, which I'll show you also later on, using Zone GPT, I generated over $500 in profit, one E-mini. So really, 65,000 is impressive, and if you can do that on a consistent basis, you will be one of the 3%, probably one of the 1% of traders who are consistently profitable to this kind of level. I'm just here to tell you that Zone GPT, with a little finesse, with a little participation from you as a trader, can do a lot better than 65,000 in 200 days. So, but this is impressive, no question, impressive. If you want to take a screenshot of this, so this is the settings that they used for their back test. You can take a screenshot of this. Again, I know nothing about this. Don't ask me anything about back testing. Don't know it. Don't use it. I am in real time only. real time only. Don't know how to use any technology. My kids make fun of me all the time. That's how it is. So this is the back test. And there is a full video on that. If you go to their website, their channel, actually, if you go to their YouTube channel, you are going to see, hold on one second, make sure that you guys, yeah. If you go to their YouTube channel, you're going to see the back test, they go into details, and that will answer all your questions. This is the back test that generated $65,000 in 200 days. So here is what happens with, so this system has 3 parts. There is the torch, which is just magic. I don't know how it works, but this torch in real time can forecast price movement. Green for bullish, kind of a hot pink, I guess, red for bearish. Also, these zones are created in real time. So when price is here, you see the zone up ahead. And what it's basically telling you, especially if the torch is green, that price should be traveling toward this zone. So, and this is in real time. Another thing you should know, I should mention it now, signals do not repaint, zones do not repaint. It's not like all of a sudden it appears when price is here. No, it begins to appear as you see it. So if price is here, you already see the zone. So it's not a mystery. It doesn't just sneak up on you or anything like that. So it has, like, again, those 3 main components: the torch, the zones, and the signals. You could use it for trend following. It tells you what the trend is. That's the torch. You could use it for reversal trading, because if a price hits a zone, let's say price is coming up and hits the zone from underneath, and the torch is green, you could still take a reversal trade if a short signal appears from the zone. In other words, price would come up into the zone and then fail. Zone GPT would paint a sell signal, and even though the torch is green, it's a bit counter trend, but that's what a reversal is, reversal trading. You could take a short if it fits your personality as a trader to go, let's say, against the current trend. It is also excellent for range trading because it has the ability to identify zones. That's what range trading is, right? What is a range? The market is kind of bouncing between two areas, back and forth, back and forth. That's range trading, and Zone GPT can identify this range. So on my micro account, the one I used micros in, I'm going to show you an example of a swing trade. Now, I'm not sure if technically it's a swing trade or a day trade. I would think it's a swing trade, but you'll see. With my e-minis, I do scalping. So my other account, PA account, uh, where I use scalping, you're gonna see, which is very different. So for scalping, I do like 3 to 5 points, like real quick, grab and done, grab and done. With a swing trade, because I trade only 3 micros, I actually hold the position. I hold the position, and I'm going to show you what's my criteria for exiting trades or scaling down after being in with more than one contract. Again, I use micros for the swing because it's a greater risk. You see, with a swing trade, you might have a few, let's say, false starts, meaning you get into a trade, the signal looks good, and then there is an opposing signal, right? So you might take a few losses first before a big move happens. And for that, I believe E-minis might be a bit too much, at least for my taste. We're all different. It might be a bit too much as far as risk goes, so I use micros. Okay, so it has the components we spoke about, the torch, the zones which are created ahead of time, and of course the signal. Okay. So yeah, well, they're talking about again the center torch is kind of the guiding light for the price. When you see this live, when you see this in real time, this torch is very impressive. I just really want to get to the charts here, but before we do, right. So you're gonna okay. So this system identifies trading opportunities for you again by creating zones, so you know where price is going or might react from. It has the torch to let you know where is the trend. And of course, obviously, the signals. Now, depending on the settings that you have, you can create settings for swing kind of trading, which would have fewer signals, or you can create settings that are more for scalping. You're going to have more signals, but with scalping, you got to be grabbing profits quickly. So it all depends what your personality is, right? There is no one size fits all in trading. And this system can address pretty much any trading style. Okay, all the components, you guys can read this. I'm not gonna read this for you. Um, Again, for me, the most impressive features are the torch um, and the zones being painted ahead of time. Uh, that is the most helpful features for me. But it has many others. It has a great ability to customize. There are many settings that you can customize again to be able to fit your trading style. Oops, you didn't see that. Okay. Uh, Historical chart. Yeah, I'm okay. Let's get to charts. Can we get to charts? Let's get to charts. So first of all, let me show you, and then I'm gonna have to disconnect and reconnect because I traded two different. I didn't realize I traded two different. Never mind. So let's see. Blah blah blah. Okay, let me see. Let me know that you guys can see this chart because I did a webinar a little while ago and it was embarrassing. I thought I was showing the chart and no one saw anything. So you guys can see this, right? Okay. Okay. Yeah, you guys can see the chart, right? I promise I'm going to answer all questions later. Okay, so yeah, I am going to answer all. Let me just get through my presentation. My ADHD is kicking in when I try to answer questions before I'm done, and then I forget things. I will get to everything, I promise. But very quickly, since I saw the question, yes, this is for futures using NinjaTrader 8. At least that's what I use it for. Can this be for stocks? I never tried it, so I can't really say. So, micros. So this is what I did with micros. You know, this is micros because there is 50 cents here. Obviously, would not happen with e-minis. And this is a PA account. Of course, as I say, I only use funded prop firm accounts for my demonstrations. In my videos, I only use prop firms funded accounts because it's the only way to be honest. Anything else, as far as I'm concerned, using sim accounts, using market replay, I don't think it has the same, not sure what the word is, but commitment maybe from the person who is showing it. Anyway, so this is swing trading idea. Now, those of you who are in my group, you guys will recognize this price, 18,030. So those of you who are not in my group, 18,030 was a price we were targeting yesterday on the way up. And so during Globex, they tested it from above, 18,030. This is pre-market now. Pre-market, so you might not be awake to take advantage of this. I was. If you are a European trader, you are definitely awake at this time. This is after 7 a.m. Eastern time. So here is the 18,030, and I go long. Now, this is swing trading, so I'm just going long. Where is my stop initially when I take this long? So kind of again, going to why do I use micros and not e-minis? Because my stop would be below this swing low here. And that's quite a bit for an e-mini, right? So I use micros. I use micros. Up we go. So huge, big trade, big trade. Now, right here, the torch, now again, you see this in real time as it happens, but here the torch turns red. And I immediately flatten out. So either I am stopped if price moves against me, or if I'm in a swing trade up, this turns red, I'm out. I'm out of my long. Good thing, right? So again, this torch has this ability to, and probably ability is the wrong word, but I'll use the word functionality, I don't know, to kind of tell where price is going to go. It turns red. I'm not saying I'm taking a short, but I am out of my long. So the torch is red this whole way here. Now, here is a short. So once again, here is the short. My stop is above these pivots. Again, to explain why I use micros and not e-minis. It's a bit much. It's a bit much for e-minis. Price is coming down. And now this zone over here, so when you take this short, let me just explain to you what happens in real time. When you take this short, you see this zone underneath. So this zone could be used as a target. If you are in multiples, you are at least taking something off before price arrives here, because there is a decent chance, very decent chance, that price could bounce from here. Now, again, there is no repainting here, the signals or the zones. You know this is happening. When you see this short, you know this is happening. Price is coming here. The torch is red. the torch is red, the signal is sell, and you have this zone underneath here. You're going to take something off. Now, price arrives, and that's what I mean now. Now it's to each personality, right? So this system can address any trading personality. Now, torch is red. The torch is red. Prices keep coming down. You reach a zone. Price reaches a zone identified by Zone GPT from way back. And there is now a long signal. Now, if you are not the kind of a trader that wants to trade against the current trend on the small time frame here, then you are not taking this long. You are waiting. If, however, you say, no, you know what, this area looks like it's important, I don't mind trying and taking a long here. As soon as you take this long, the zone here appears. Again, this is not after the fact. As soon as you start traveling up, this zone appears here. Price goes right to it. The torch is still red. Here is a short signal. Now everything goes together. The trend, the zone, and the signal. Boom. That's his swing trading. So I'm going to show you the settings. I changed these settings to accommodate swing trading. I would not do this with E-minis. The risk is pretty big. Price eventually, of course, you will have losing trades. So price could move against you and sometimes substantially, at least the way I would trade it. And so I believe micros is a much better idea for swing trading. So you can take a screenshot if you wish. So yeah, this short, and I mean, and I'm done. I mean, that's it. That's it. So this was generated on this chart. Look at this move. Look at this. Now, full disclosure, I actually did not participate in the full move, but I participated in a good portion of it. Now, torch goes green, right? Torch goes green. If I was still in my short, and by this point I wasn't, but if I was still in my short, I'm getting out of the trade. I'm not saying I'm taking a long, but I'm getting out of my short trade. The torch is green. Look at the ability of this torch, of this system, to just recognize a shift in price momentum. Now, unfortunately, because of the way my settings are, there is no official long signal. But if in your own work, you say to yourself, you know what, price reached some very important level on the downside. As soon as I see any sign of bullish behavior, I'm going to take a long trade. Well, then you're not waiting for a signal. You see this, the torch turning blue, I'm in green, and there you go. So then we reach the end of the day here. So there is a small here, but I just want to show you the torch. This is what the torch looks like. So as price is moving, this torch is moving with the price. And it's also the torch then begins to create zones. Obviously, everything is closed now, but like normally, then you would expect price to come up into this zone. And this happens in real time. When you watch it in real time, when there is a price movement. So this is swing trading ideas using micros. Now, if you give me just 1 minute, then I'm sorry. Give me just 1 second. I apologize. Hopefully I won't mess this up. Give me 1 minute. Give me 1 second. So I just need to change. Dun. Okay, sorry, let me bring you back. Okay. All right. So, okay, I think you're still right. Okay, good. All right, let's look at the scalping NASDAQ chart. Second. Just find it 1 second. Okay, here we go. So this is, all right. So again, you see a PA account, just a different thing here. So this was generated using one e-mini. So this is one e-mini for scalping. Now let me bring you back to, whoops, 9:30. Okay, 9:30. So scalping is it's a very different ball game. For scalping, we're not just holding. Could you just hold? Yes, but when you begin to hold, it's just a different approach um, to trading. So for me, this was it just boom, and a nice move as soon as the market opens 9:30 pullback. Zone GPT identifies an area. Price comes down to this area. The torch is green. Everything lines up, and there you go with a long trade. It could be as simple as that. Um, Now, here is the thing. Now, this is a legitimate. There's nothing wrong with the short. The torch is red. Nothing wrong with this short. Here is the small problem, and for scalping, it's still okay. But you see this zone like right as soon as you enter a trade. So, it's like you're looking at this and you must realize that you just must take profit even before price gets here. It's always a good idea to kind of fade those areas. Those areas are very accurate that Zone GPT has. So you kind of want to fade it because you probably are not the only ones looking at those zones. So you see how it just misses it, then comes back to the same zone where you took the short from, and then boom, straight down. And now price recovers. So at first it breaks it, then recovers. Zone GPT here gives a long trade. Now, again, it's a long trade. The torch is red. So again, you gotta look at your trading plan. Your trading plan will tell you what kind of a trader you are. Um, this is going against the trend. It doesn't mean it can't work out, but it is against the current trend identified by the torch in Zone GPT. You might not want to take it, or maybe you do want to take it. It's up to you. The signal obviously works out. Now, this is a loss. So for scalping, you're not going to put now. If I was swing trading, my stop would be above this pivot, and it would hold. But for swing trading, as soon as the zone here breaks by, say, 5 ticks, um, the zone here breaks, I'm out because this is scalping, right? So I'm out with a small loss. Here is another opportunity. Price comes up. The torch is red. We have a zone. We have a short signal, and down we go. To where, again, these zones are painted ahead of time. When you take the short, you see the zone. So it's not a mystery where price might go. Here, price gets here, and Zone GPT has a long signal because it looks like price is holding this area. Again, keep in mind the torch is red. Torch is red, so you got to figure out what kind of trader you are. If you took this, maybe you got stopped on this first one. This second one works, goes right up. Unfortunately, no short signal. Here is a long, again, look at this torch, is just collapsing down. It is definitely an aggressive long over here. If you took it, you definitely have enough for a scalp. Again, we're talking scalping here now. Can you hold, like when you hear, you see this. But if you want to hold to this, you no longer are doing scalping. At least not in, I guess, not in the accepted definition of scalping. Now you're doing something else. But if you are swing trading, you probably don't want to do it against a very sharp torch that's moving down. Again, along and again against a red torch. So more aggressive, but probably enough for a very quick scalp here. And that's when things get mixed. So you have a short signal, and it's also because of the time of day. I should mention this too. I think it's important. Your trading plan should also include when you are trading. See, with me, I like to be done by 10:30 a.m. Eastern, 1 hour after US session opens. I get very careful after 11. I don't like to trade after 11. That's lunchtime. Market gets rangy. Not that you can't trade a range. If you can identify a range, you can definitely trade it. It's just not my style. So I prefer not to be in the market when things get like really choppy. But anyway, just to kind of look at the signals. So you have a short trade against a green torch, and same here. Like here, enough for a scalp for sure. This also is enough for a scalp for sure. Um, then this long, again, it just becomes somewhat questionable. The zones, you see how zones kind of get closer and closer together. So this might be a bit more advanced, but once you learn how to use this software, when zones get closer and closer together, this means that you are entering a chop zone. So it's something for you to be aware of. Not that you cannot be profitable during chop time, but you should at least recognize that you are entering chop time. Your strategy should be, if you should be very different, trading a very range-bound, tight market than ranging a kind of huge swinging market, right? So things get really close together. Still, though, this long, I guess, would have been a small loss because then there is an immediate short. The short would have worked out. This short probably would have gotten stopped on the first one. The second one should have been okay. And again, kind of moving toward this this zone, which then holds, and there is a long signal. Oops, sorry. Which then there is a short again toward the zone. Again, I don't like trading at this time. This long is definitely a losing trade. Short, and then long, short, long, short. It's just the time of day. Um, but I'll just show you the signals though. The longs are okay. Most signals are still okay for scalping. It's just that once you enter this kind of time, you do have to be careful. I mean, an amazing short. I guess the more amazing thing about this short is that the torch here is already red. It's already red. But you see, when you take this short and you see this zone, you only have like, I don't know, 15, 20 ticks here, which is enough for a scalp, but you are aware that price could stop here. It could, it didn't. And there was no long signal because there was no confirmation. But once it broke, where would you expect price to go next? The zone over here. And again, you see this ahead of time. You see this. You see this. There is zone underneath here. So yeah, so then this zone holds, and again, enough for a scalp. Unfortunately, no short signal, but the torch is red from here. The torch is red here coming down. I would definitely not take this long. Now, it is enough for a scalp, for sure. It's enough for a scalp, but this kind of a sharp torch coming down like that, mm, I would have taken the short probably, even though by here the torch is green, I would be cautious, but I think it's still kind of a decent short. Followed by a long, again, just a little bit. This is a nicer long against the torch though, so this one is probably just a losing trade. Torch turns green from here, right? This area. Price is coming up. No official signal, but price is coming up. Torch stays blue. So this is a very aggressive short. So again, if you don't like trading against the trend, you would not be taking this short. But I'll just show you the signals. So here we go, kind of range again. So this is the ability of Zone GPT to recognize ranges, right? Kind of long to long to short, right? And then, oops, and then again, very aggressive short. The torch is green and climbing. This tells you chances are we're moving higher. Same here. I mean, it looks beautiful right now, but as this is happening in real time, even though there's like a double zone here, so you might think, well, there was a nice double zone here. It might be resistance, and it was resistance, but this torch being green and coming up like that, definitely aggressive. This is better. Here, torch is red, but it turns blue immediately. But you would already been in the money when it turns green. Then it turns red again anyway. And then what are you expecting price to do? To come to this zone over here, right over here. And then it's like going toward the end of the day. I'm just gonna so this long is better with the torch turned green right over here, and this is a long. So that's more reasonable. Goes right to the zone, a short from the zone, a long toward the zone, a short from the zone, a long from this zone, and so on and so forth. So this would have been a loss. Torch turns red, no official signal here, but you would expect price to come down to here. Just missing a zone on top here. And then here is a short. Another short, even though the torch turned green here, this one might have had a chance, but unless you took a very quick profit, would have been a loss. Goes again to the zone. Zone GPT gives a short upon holding resistance, and you would expect price to come to this here. It does. Here is a long, short, a long from slightly lower. Then breaking through, so no signal, goes to the next zone underneath, and along the torch is really sliding. It is red and really sliding. So not sure if you want to take it. Both of these longs are aggressive. Probably both have been enough for a scalp. This one for sure. This one a maybe. This, again, if you're not taking quick profits, this is a loss. Torch is red. Aggressive short, maybe enough for a scalp. Aggressive short, enough for a scalp. This is a losing, and so this is the end of the day. So this is what the torch looks like. So this torch was red from here, from the close of this bar, right? Right? Yeah, right over here. This where the torch is red. So all this is available. Torch is coming down sharp. So you would expect price to come down sharp. So again, the torch leads the price. That's why they call it Zone GPT from the future. This torch is leading the price. I made an experiment once where I simply traded the torch. Forget about signals. I just traded the torch and did really well simply trading the torch. Just super accurate, really. Anyway, let's look at some other markets other than the NASDAQ. What else do I have? I have oil. Oil. Let's go to the 9 o'clock start. Not much going on in oil today. So oil pretty much market opened a long, which would have been a small loser. So from along here down to here, and then just a great short. And there was not much was going on with oil today. So torch is staying red here through this whole move down. This long is a legitimate long, just enough for a scalp. So each one of these bars here is $30. So, you know, enough for a quick scalp. Then the torch turns red. Again, torch is ahead of price. Torch turns red, price collapses down. Okay, and now here it is. So this is the torch as of right now. So not much movement today in oil, but definitely some opportunities to trade. I don't know if you want to see the settings. What am I doing? Yep. Okay, settings, crude. Okay, now I always have someone who's asking me about the Russell, so I came prepared. The Russell, the Russell, the Russell. Okay, the Russell. So let's go to 930. 930. Yeah, just a short. Boom. So again, short, and you see the zone underneath. So if you feel like holding, it becomes a bit more than just a scalping kind of trade. But you know, that's where you expect price to go to, and then you definitely you want to be out before price arrives, just in case. But price arrives and holds, and there is a long toward this zone. Unfortunately, no short signal. There was a short signal here coming down. So this is the Russell, a bit choppier today than the NASDAQ was, but still, Zone GPT identifies great opportunities. And that's going back to, having an edge. Russell was a tougher market, I think, than the NASDAQ was. And if you're not sure, take a look. This is without anything. So what do you do here? Not after the fact. Don't tell me, yeah, I will take a long here, I will take a short here. In reality, right? As things are happening, what do you do? Market is opening, what do you do? Right? So you must have an edge. And it must be a clear edge, clear edge, clear. Use a short, where to? Over here, possibly. Now, ahead of time, when you're just taking the short, right? You're taking the short, you're seeing this. You're saying, well, price might get here or might not, but I'm looking to scalp. But if I feel like holding, where should price go to? Over here. It just took a while, but it got there. And then a long, where should the long go to? Well, at first, you're just seeing this. And actually, this reaches this, even though the zone stopped painting, it reaches it, but then this one was created. So you would take your profits here. So that's the Russell. Settings, the Russell, the Russell. Okay. Okay. I'm going to try and answer some questions ahead of time because that always comes up. Why are you only using the King Renko bar? I find from my experience, Renko bar is just more accurate than any other bar for this system and for other systems that NINZA creates. I was told by NINZA that a lot of their RK systems were actually created specifically for the King Renko bar. So I highly recommend a King Renko bar. I just find it more accurate and easier um, to come up with settings, to adjust settings to fit it. So then you get some nice signals. So I do believe that King Renko bar is worth the relatively small investment, especially wait till you see the deal. I'm going to show you the deal. I'm going to show you the deal. Hold on. The deal is coming. The deal. Okay. The deal. Let me just okay, so just make sure I covered everything. Settings, yeah, we spoke about settings. So that's what NinZaCo recommends as far as brick sizes. So they have Ninza Renko and they have King Renko. Again, I prefer the King Renko. My brick sizes are a bit different. I did not trade ES today with this system. In general, I find ES to be much more challenging when it comes to indicators. Um, I trade I trade the S&P in a different way, but it looks like it's definitely possible to trade it with Zone GPT. I think we are ready. We're gonna have our Q&A later. All right, the deal. All right, so normally this system sells for $1,596. First 15 licenses, first 15 people get it for, is that right? 496? Wow. 496, the next 24, 596. But wait, there is more. This there is also a $200 voucher simply for listening to me for the past 40 minutes. So this is the code for the $200 gift. And this is the code for Zone GPT. And this is the deal. Okay, if you just give me 1 minute, I'm going to have a quick drink of water, and then I'm going to be answering questions. Give me just 1 minute. All right, let's start. So as far as right. So NINZACO has a lot of systems and indicators. Which one do I like better? First of all, liking of any indicator or setup is very individual. The truth is, I can be profitable with any of them. And you see my videos again when I use prop firm accounts, funded accounts. Um, I can be profitable with any of them. All of them are really good. Zone GPT is specifically for people who like to trade by zones and know what the trend is. Um, Other systems are, let's say, only trend systems with pullbacks or something like that. Zone GPT is a bit different. So it's not a matter of better or worse. It's a matter of what you like, right? Like when you go to a restaurant and they serve steak and they serve chicken and they serve fish. So it's not a matter of question of better or what do you like better. It's just a question of taste. We all like different things, but it's not like one is better than the other. It's just different. And Zone GPT is unique in its ability to identify zones ahead of time. And with this torch to kind of, I don't what's the right word for that? Not know, obviously, um, but forecast, be able to forecast where price is going. So in that sense, it's unique. And by the way, that's a different discussion, but you could actually combine higher time frame, lower time frame, using Zone GPT and another system from NINZA on, let's say, a smaller time frame where Zone GPT provides the direction, and then you're looking for confirmation using something else. I've done that too, but it's a whole different discussion. Let's see what else. Oh, a bigger brick size. Well, hold on. The micro is on a bigger brick size, right? So the micro, because it's a swing trading chart, it is a bigger brick size. But again, the brick size is something that needs to be adjusted depending on what is it that you're looking for and depending on the particular market's volatility at the time. So it's a brick size is something that does need to be adjusted every once in a while to reflect the current market volatility. Uh, okay, let's see. Hold on. Alerts for the signals. That's a great question. I think you can. I think you can have alerts for the signals. Yeah, you can have alerts. Yeah, I think somewhere here there are alerts. Let me just go down here. Yeah, there are alerts right over here. So you can set up alerts. Yeah, you can. Stops. Okay, let's talk about stops. Good question. Always important. So again, when I do swing trading, my stop is below the recent low. I can tell you, NINZA officially says that the stop should be just a few ticks, maybe 5 or 6 ticks below the signal bar, like below the signal zone over here. So it's a matter of preference. Definitely, if I'm scalping, I'm not allowing too much. When I use E-minis, I'm not allowing too much. But in a case of a swing trade, especially if I have reason to believe that we're going to go substantially higher, I will give a market some room, and I would put my stop below the recent swing low. Um, but officially, from NINZA, just as far as the system goes, they recommend a stop right below the signal zone, maybe 5 or 6 ticks below. Yeah, as far as the $200 gift, to be honest, I'm really not sure how you can apply it. I imagine you can apply it to any NINZA product, but I imagine it cannot be for the sale price of the system. But it's best if you get in touch with NINZA for any details, because I don't want to give you the wrong answer. Another question regarding Cosmic ZTP and this, it's just different. It's just different systems. It's again, it's like comparing steak and chicken, right? It's a matter of taste. Both are terrific, and as you know, I have a Cosmic ZTP YouTube channel. I love the product. Um, uh, Zone GTP is just different. Um, it's a bit easier for me to do swing trading with Zone GPT because I'm aware ahead of time where the zones are, um, and when price might turn against my position here, right? So if I'm long, I'm flattening out because I know there is very high probability. I mean, definitely better than 60% probability that if the torch is red, we are going lower, right? So that's the example. So as far as can it work on other time frames other than Renko bars, I'm sure it could. Again, um, after using this product for a few months now, I can honestly tell you the King Renko bars are just more accurate than anything else that I have tried. That's not to say that if you prefer a minute chart, that it would not work. I just never. It's not true. There was a video of me swing trading this on a 5 minute chart in NINZA Core YouTube channel. There is a video of me doing a 5 minute chart, but since then I've really been focusing on the King Renko. Um, I believe it is a far superior bar type than pretty much anything I've seen, and I used a lot of different bar types, a lot of different Renko kind of custom bars, and this one is the best. Not only that, but with King Renko bars, you can, from what I understand, backtest fairly accurately the way the bar is. The King Renko bar is not as what is called. It's not an irregular bar. Like a regular Renko bar is an irregular bar, meaning the opening is really not what it looks, but with a King Renko bar, it is not an irregular bar, and it's just easier to work with, in my opinion. Again, the $200 voucher, I think it could be applied toward the purchase of a King Renko bar, but again, any details like that, it's best to double check with NINZA. I don't want to give you any wrong information. All right, 1 minute. So there is a PDF manual that comes with the system. Um, but you will learn a lot more, not from the manual, but from actually sitting and trying it out, watching it live. If you take a week and just watch it live. That's what I did when I first got. I'm terrible. I hate reading, which is funny because I used to be an educator. But when it comes to trading, I prefer to experiment because I need to see how something behaves in real time. I have never read any manuals of any indicator and systems that I've received from NINZA. I just sat down with it and I worked with it, and that really gives you the experience you will need to be profitable. Why am I profitable with all these different systems and indicators? Because I actually take the time and I study them in real time. So I take my time and I study them, um, and and that I think is more effective simply than reading a manual. I don't know if just reading a manual is really going to help. It might, but I think actually working with it is what's going to give you the confidence to eventually trade with it. Yes. So again, for scalping, I'll use E-minis. Yes. Yes. For swing trading, I use micros, and that's because the risk associated with a swing trade is just too much for my comfort level. It all comes to your comfort level. I mean, obviously because I'm trading micros, I'm also giving up a lot, right? If I was trading uh if I was trading three E-minis, it wouldn't have been up $400. It would have been up $4,000, right? So you are giving something up, but for me, uh, greed doesn't do this for me anymore. I'm not been around for too long. I'm okay with sacrificing some profits for safety. That's just me. Let's see what else. Did I consider a webinar with combining indicators? I think it would be very useful. It's something I have to present to NINZA. You see, I think a product like Zone GPT, where you have the direction, but let's say, the risk might be too much or whatever, and you can just, while having Zone GPT trending up, so you know that the trend is up because the torch is green. So with the torch being green, you have over 60% chance probability that price is going to go higher. Then you can use some other system on a smaller time frame or some other indicator just for quick scalps along the way. Let's face it, and it took me a while. It's not easy to hold positions. I mean, that's not an easy thing to do. So throughout this run, if you can, just grab some scalps here and there using something else, I think it could be beneficial. Um, and not only necessarily scalps, but let's say you get in, but you get out when another indicator, let's say, tells you, hey, it's time to get out. Um, Maybe you can use another system or indicator to get out of a position and not take a position necessarily against the trend that Zone GPT finds. Sorry, 1 second. Sorry. Okay, let's see what else. So it is my understanding that it is being recorded by NINZA as far as here is the deal again. So yeah, any questions as far as the sale or the $200? That's beyond my pay grade. So this looks like it. Let me just double check, make sure I didn't miss anything. 1 minute. Yeah, so again, as far as other time frames like tick charts, I did not try it. I cannot tell you because I did not try it. I assume by tick chart you mean regular tick or range, so I'm not exactly sure. But if you're talking about like regular tick chart, I did not try it. But Zone GPT is very good at identifying areas almost regardless of what you use. As I said, I used it once on a 5-minute chart. But I tell you, again, my experience tells me the King Renko bar is just the most accurate. And in my book, if something proves to be accurate, why use anything else? That's why I don't use anything else anymore with Zone GPT or with Cosmic for that matter. I just really found that King Renko bars are just superior bars. And since trading is my business, why would I use something inferior? So that's Cosmic. I think there is a way to work Zone GPT and Cosmic together. It's something I can study. It's something I can look into. I think these are two very powerful systems, and maybe if you combine them together, you can have something very interesting that could be created. I imagine it would be like higher time frame, lower time frame kind of deal. Maybe a higher time frame on Zone GPT and lower time frame on Cosmic or something like that. I think it's something that's interesting. I can look into it. Yeah, I think it's something good. All right. Well, I think this is it. So I would like to thank all of you for spending your Friday afternoon in here. I really thought that I wouldn't have anyone in here. I told Ninsico, why Friday afternoon? No one's going to be here. But I was wrong. And I thank all of you for being here. And if you want to come to my Discord channel, just kind of check out what we do. There was a public area where I kind of post, after when the day is over, I kind of post what we were looking for in the live room. Um, and it's again, it's kind of like combining bigger picture with indicators. That's now I have no indicators most of the time in the room, because different traders use different things. But I just talk about overall the direction of the NASDAQ and the S&P and some important levels to target or to look to enter positions in. Okay, this is it. Thank you all. And there is one next week. There is another webinar next week. I hope to see most of you, all of you, there next week. Thank you all. Have a great weekend.